Okay, so what's happening, fam? L.A.R movement still moving. Subscriber die trying. You see the thumbnail, right? You will bring your bias to heaven. So, watching SWP, Sergeant Willie Pete, and he had this thing he had been talking about with, Muslim first or black first, from some things he's seen, and he started posting it. He started posting, the issues that you had some Africans who are Somali, I want to say. And you have people commenting on them being Muslim first over being black first, and others commenting on why they were black first and not Muslim first. And I saw another little conversation on, I forgot the other channel, but it was talking about religion. I think it was Christianity. And I started thinking about it like, people assume that I don't get the idea that you can have prejudice or racism or bias or hatred or some type of dislike or disdain towards another group of human beings and think, okay, I'm gonna die, and in the afterlife, in heaven, all of a sudden, prejudice, racism, disdain is not going to exist, but I'm going to get into heaven and all of a sudden, Jesus is black, but I don't like black people, but hey, I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, this idea that, oh, your family can be bigoted and prejudiced and racist or what is it, xenophobic, whatever, it can be all these things. And all of a sudden, grandpa's going to heaven, grandma's going to heaven, mom and dad are going to heaven. But somehow they're going to it's going to be kumbaya and everybody's holding hands of all these different groups. I'm like, I'm not buying it. This is part of the reason why sometimes I look at the way people go about Christianity or religion as like, whatever, man. Because all of a sudden, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. All of a sudden, you're one negative way, but you're gonna go to heaven for being this negative type of person. Mean-spirited, evil, vindictive, spiteful. But it's only because you look different to me. You know what I'm saying? But But God's gonna forgive me because Jesus Christ is my Savior. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? But if Jesus don't look like you, I messed up. Like, whatever. So what I'm getting at ultimately is, let's just hypothetically say that you make it to heaven, right? You think your bias, you're not going to bring your bias with you, because people say, you're going to go to heaven and it's going to be you in the afterlife, and you think you're not going to bring that same BS that you had in this life into the next. If you could, the one thing I crack up about just the thought of it is, since everybody's in heaven, now if you see somebody, they're not going to steal from you. They're not going to, lie to you, cheat, manipulate you, try to rape you, try to sleep with your wife or your daughters, or, they're not going to break into your home. Can they walk down the street in heaven? Are you going to call the heaven police on them? I'm like, Jesus PD. This heaven street is getting a little, like, I'm nervous. I'm in fear for my afterlife. Like, it's stupid. It's ridiculous. But this idea that, no. I'm going to be like that in this life, but in the next one, I'm going to be a good person. So in some ways, you can acknowledge that you ain't ish here. But when you die, if you get into heaven, all of a sudden, you're going to be a good person. But you got rewarded for being a bad person. So if you got to go to heaven for acting this way, all of a sudden, Why would you change? You know, what will make you change in the afterlife? Nothing. You know, and think about, you know, how people experienced you, like people's grandparents and great grandparents, and you know, did some unscrupulous things. You know, they got ahead because of bias, because of racism, because of prejudice, you know, because, you know, of being spiteful, because of lying, cheating, and manipulating. But they're your great grandparents and great grandparents, and, you know, you're benefiting off of that. You're a benefactor of their BS. So in your mind, they did good by you because you set up real nice, right? So at the end of the day, they deserve to go to heaven because you got something on earth. You know, they looked out for their children and their children's children via generational wealth, even though it was got from ill-gotten ways. So to you, they're a hero. So they should make it to heaven for that, right? What about the people that they screwed over? They should, so they get to be neighbors. The people that screwed over people and the people that got screwed over get to go to heaven the same and be neighbors, and that same kind of bias exists. Oh man, man. So basically, I should do what you do right now, because if you can go to heaven for it, I can go to heaven for it, right? See how this kind of is bipolar? I mean, schizophrenic, whatever you want to call it. It's just crazy. But that's my thought on this. Like, share, subscribe, or die. Try and catch you on the next one. Peace.